What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Occult Perspectives. So this is going to be an interesting video. The sun is actually beginning to set in the west. We were talking about that in the last video. So I don't know how much more daylight I'm going to get. It doesn't really matter because this video probably won't run. I'm guessing I probably won't go much longer than about 40 minutes or so. But the topic of this video, and of course I'm known for getting off topic anyway, is going to be about why I no longer do the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram. What do I do now instead? I know a lot of you have been wondering, what's up with Occult Perspectives? All of this different information coming in about the elements and the directions, all of that stuff. We're going to get into all that in this video. And some of the dangers of the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram, specifically the banishing part. And if you are new to my channel, I'm assuming this probably isn't your first video, but maybe you are somebody that's looking up videos about the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram. So to give you a little bit of background on who I am, this channel is Occult Perspectives. My name is Tyler Smith. I started ceremonial magic practices starting with the relaxation ritual and the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram back in 2016. And I got that ritual from reading the Golden Dawn, Israel Regardie's the Golden Dawn book. So I was mostly influenced by that book at the time, as well as modern magic. We'll see if the baby stops crying here in a minute. If not, I'm going to have to stop this video because I'm not going to be able to focus on this video. But he might quiet down. So the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram is basically the main prerequisite to all further ceremonial magic, and really it's a ritual that's more designed to cleanse and clear the space for your other rituals or practices that you're going to do in the duration of that time period. And then a lot of people will close out, all of their ritual work with a banishing. So sometimes they may begin it with the banishing and then they'll close all the ritual work with a banishing as well. The dangers to this, I highly recommend that you look up Universal Mastery's videos on banishing as well to get another unique perspective on cleansing and banishing, why doing this all the time can be, a danger, and why it becomes kind of like this addiction to kind of escape some of the negative energy that's incoming, that actually we may want to use that energy, be more magnetic and take that energy in and transmute it rather than just pushing the energy away. So for me, the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram at first, it was really hard to find information for me about the lesser invoking ritual of the pentagram. It does talk about it really briefly in the Golden Dawn book. And it recommends that you do the invoking in the morning and the invoking in the evening. Now, what's strange about modern magic, I don't think Donald Michael Craig talks about the invoking ritual at all. So really, he only has the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram as, part of your magical curriculum. But for me, at first, it was very beneficial. I didn't really see the benefits of doing the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram at first. I just felt kind of weird when I was first getting into it. And I had to find places where I could, be alone so I could perform that operation. And at first, you just feel kind of awkward. Then you give it some time, and really, it's a good grounding mechanism to give you discipline. It gives you a daily discipline to set aside 20 minutes or so, to do these practices. I would do the relaxation ritual, and then I would do the Kabbalistic cross, and then the Lesser Banishing Ritual of the Pentagram, and that would mostly be my curriculum for the longest time. And so I wasn't doing a lot of invoking, although, of course, when you call the angels forth, that's the invocation. You are inflaming yourself in prayer. You're calling forth the archangels, of course, but it's still a banishing ritual. So what are the dangers of this ritual, it's supposed to, increase your aura. It's supposed to strengthen your aura and banish unwanted energies. Well, what this can do, especially one of my commenters on my YouTube channel said if you're doing the Lesser Banishing Ritual in your own living space, especially, what you can do is you start to banish everything. It creates kind of this void. It's the best way I can describe it. And as I was doing this ritual more and more over time, yes, I was having these ecstatic spiritual experiences in my meditation. I would see the archangels pretty clearly and vividly at certain points. I could definitely feel the change in the energy. And these were all new sensations for me. This was all very interesting, cool stuff. I felt like it was helping me to kind of shield from the outside world in such a way. Man, this phone does not want to sit still. It's rather annoying. Maybe if I said it like that, it'll stay better. But doing this ritual over and over again, it started to create this void. It did, remove, I feel like, unwanted energies from around me, but at the same time, it was creating this void and this emptiness within me. To a degree that I felt like the ritual, as I performed it over and over and over and over again, during the span of, I want to say from 2016 to 2019, so that's like 3 years of doing this ritual, mostly the Lesser Banishing Ritual of the Pentagram. Yes, I did do invokings, but not as often because I wasn't sure if I was doing them correctly. There was a lack of information at the time, and now it seems there's a lot of information out there on the Lesser Invoking Ritual of the Pentagram. I talk about that in my videos as well, so if you want clarification on the differences between the two, between the invoking and the banishing pentagram rituals, I recommend watching videos on my channel. I recommend you get the book. I think he talks about invoking in the book High Magic by Damien Eccles, but he definitely talks about the invoking in the Angels and Archangels book, his second book. So it wasn't until I really found that book that I was like, oh wow, here's somebody actually writing out the details of the reasons why you do the invoking versus the banishing, and the steps to do it, and how to trace the pentagrams correctly. And because when I do an invoking, I do not do the sign of silence. So when you hold your left index finger to your lips, I do not do that. Because it makes more sense to do that when you're banishing or pushing the energy away. But one of my other practitioner friends said it's also just a way to seal the energy by doing that. So really that's preference, I feel like. So it's really hard to, because it's been gnawing at me for a really long time, I've really wanted to explain these things and why I feel like the banishing ritual over time, what it was doing is it was tearing apart me. It started to banish my own self. And what it would do is if I had a confrontational thing in my life, if there was something that was bothering me and I didn't like what was being presented before me in my manifested reality, I would go and do a banishing ritual. I'd be like, I just want to push that energy away. But what it would seem to do is it would have this slingshot effect, because these were energies that I was supposed to embrace, supposed to work on transmuting them and realizing why they were there, why they were being presented to me, and working through them rather than using the escapism of something like a banishing ritual. So I ended up actually having some health problems, and I don't think it was due just to this. There's been some long underlying energetic and emotional things that I have not really been, working through as efficiently as I should. Really sitting there with my emotions and, really coming to terms with where I am energetically. And really big shout out. I know I give shout outs to Universal Mastery all the time for really helping me move in the opposite direction from that. You know, is it Albert Einstein that says those who keep on doing the same things and expect different results, like that is the definition of insanity, or something like that. So really, universal mastery kind of helped me to break the spell on, like, look, maybe this banishing, like, is not really the best thing for me, because I'm pushing away all this dark matter energy, but dark matter energy is what makes up most of the universe. He talks about in his videos. So it really, not only the banishing ritual, but there were other aspects in my life where I was really just giving too much energy to everyone else. I wasn't being, like, selfish enough. I wasn't being negatively polarized enough. And really, I kind of vibe more with the negative polarity. You know, I see from, like, the parenthood of Source, where there's solemn lessons in life where really, you know, like, there is a place for sacrifice. There is a place for stepping aside and just allowing things to manifest the way that they need to, allow the universe to do its thing, basically. Like, don't force things. Don't try to always be super logical and super intellectual and try to figure everything out. Just let the universe do its thing and flow. And I was fighting against that for so long, but there were also points where I needed to really step my foot down, and I wasn't doing that. Instead, I would use the escapism of my practices, like the Lesser Banishing Ritual of the Pentagram, and there were other things in my life I was doing at the time that produced an escapism. And I really just was, at that point in my life, from like 2016 to 2019, I was a super, super busy person, and basically running away from my own home and just staying busy all the time. You know, these things happen for a reason. You know, I got really busy with my lodge and Freemasonry. I was playing live music all the time. What seemed to happen to me is I was being stretched thin. I was destroying myself in this process and banishing all the energies away to where there was this big void within me. And everyone's like, seems pretty happy around me all the time. And I was surrounded by really good people, you know, really cool people. But it was like, no matter where I went, no matter what I did, I could not find happiness. There was this void. And I was questioning, I'm like, is it the magical practices that I'm doing? Is it separating me from everyone else so much? Am I just banishing everything away so much that it's created this void, and now I have to learn how to, like, fill this void? And I think that's kind of what was happening. There were some other energetic things I was working on at the time as well, between, I want to say, 2018, 2019, somewhere in that time frame, where I was doing other magical practices that I won't really speak about. I'm not going to speak about them right now, but it did have an effect on me. I feel like it was an ordained kind of thing. I was meant to do this ritual, but it did have a macrocosmic effect. It really did, and it had an effect on me as well. And it's kind of like one of those things where you take like a cosmic bullet, and you create this effect that has like an outward ripple effect, but it was almost kind of like a sacrificial type of thing in a way, like on an energy level, not like a literal type of thing. Trying to bring balance basically trying to bring about balance to natural law, but also trying to get rid of some of the more mundane energies that exist in this world that are not the things that are holding humanity back from their evolution. All of those factors were involved in that operation. And like I said, I'm not really going to talk about that in this video. I'm going to try to stay on topic with this banishing, but basically this void that I feel like was created from banishing all the time. It's something that I'm still dealing with. There's been a void within me for a really long time. I'm a very blessed individual. I have a beautiful family. I have beautiful friends, but there's still something within me that no matter what, it's like I cannot appreciate and enjoy. It's like I'm trying to find out again what feeds my soul in life. Like, what is my soul's purpose? Magic is definitely a part of that. Occult studies are definitely a part of that. Music is definitely a part of that. But I feel like there's this new chapter in my life, and there's something there. And I have a son now. Me and my fiance, we have a son, and that has been such a blessing. It's given me a lot more purpose in life, because I was starting to get to that point where it was like, what is it that there's something missing here? So my son has been a very good influence on me as far as grounding and really learning to appreciate life. And as he grows older, we're going to grow together. That's one of the cool things about being a parent, is not only are you watching your kid grow, but your kid is actually teaching you, and you are growing with him or with her, So it's a really beautiful thing, and I think that in and of itself, being a parent, being a father, is going to teach me a lot in life. It's going to take me down some new roads and open up some new things for me. But on an individual level, I also have to find what it is that ignites my soul, because it seems like there's a lot of, we try to cling on to old things like nostalgia and things like that, because we remember times in our lives where we were younger and we were more childlike, and everything was exciting to us, And I went through that phase kind of like 2016 to 2020, where it was like everything was kind of new, and then it was right around the end of that time period, around 2019 especially, when I just went through some really hard things. And then I met my fiance, and that was a great light that helped me through such a dark time. And she really is like one of the few people that I actually can relate to. I have a really hard time like relating to a lot of people. And I know that a lot of it's because of my occult studies. A lot of it's even because, being a part of Freemasonry and stuff, it's helped me to see things from a different angle, a different perspective that most people just honestly don't get. They don't get to have that understanding or that experience. Really, anyone who joins any kind of initiatory system or a mystery school, or if you're doing the real work on your own journey, like you're an individual practitioner, you will learn about these things. You will be able to see the world from a new perspective. You can see the beauty there, but you also get light shined upon the darkness. Light illuminates all the dark things in life too. And it really helps you to see where humanity needs help, where we have to evolve consciously. And then also that the great work is to help all of these souls on earth. We're one great big family, and that's one thing that Freemasonry really taught me, is that we're all children under the, source, under the auspices of source, the divine parent, if you will, if you want to use a metaphor for it. We are all children of the universe. We all have this common inheritance. We all have the ability, on the level. We all have equal rights under natural law. We may not all be the same. We may not look the same. We may not talk the same. We may not all have the same intellectual gifts, but we all have the same rights under natural law. That is our birthright, So anyway, getting off track a little bit, the Lesser Banishing Ritual of the Pentagram, it's a really easy bandwagon to jump onto, because it seems like that's the beginning, step. And really, part of the problem was, too, is I didn't take my practices beyond, like, the Lesser Banishing Ritual of the Hexagram. That's pretty much where I got to. I did the Rose Cross a little bit. I only performed that ritual probably like 3 or 4 times, not very many times. That was a very powerful one, too. But I had gotten to that point where I felt like, I'm not sure if I'm doing this right. I don't know if I really have the discipline, being honest with myself, if I have the discipline to keep this up. So it really just became more of a chore to do my practices. So I really took a step back, took a break, and I would occasionally do, Lesser Banishing Rituals of the Pentagram. Now I'm to the point where I'm doing invoking rituals. So I'm trying to draw energy back in. I've even done a little bit of work with Lilith, I've talked about on this channel as well, and working with some of those darker side energies. And I tell you what, those energies are they're very empowering. They can be uncomfortable to kind of take on at first, or to even get in resonance with. But I find that if you really want to get your ass in gear, sometimes the demons, ironically, will help you do that more than the angels, because their energy is a little bit harsher, it's a little bit denser in some ways. The angels can really come in and kind of mess you up if you're not in alignment with natural law. Same with the demons, like they will force you to basically get your shit together, especially Lilith. Like Lilith doesn't really mess around. She's a very dark, primordial, feminine, chaotic energy, which isn't a bad thing. She's there to teach you certain lessons. But, and especially in the New Age, it's kind of, you know, it's always like there's always an enemy out to get you. There's a lot of fear-mongering going on in the occult community, which I'm not really a big fan of. And just a lot of like, oh, this message is for you, blah, 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 blah. And some of them are really genuine. Some of them seem to really align. Like, I know some tarot card readers out there that are really legit. Like, they really know their shit. Because I resonate with almost every reading that they do. If it's like, if they do Scorpio, you know, some Scorpio readings or such. But anyway, I feel like I'm mostly getting my point across. There was a guy who, I recommended this video in an older video, and I can't remember what the name of the video is now, but the lesser invoking ritual of the pentagram really was the ritual that the Golden Dawn like taught in the beginning. And the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram was just a side note. It's literally just if you feel like you're in an area where the energy is super negative and you need to remove something, like if you're not in your own home, if you're not in your own temple space, if you're somewhere that just the energy's really off, like shit, maybe there were people doing like heavy drugs there or something, maybe you're in a house that just has nasty energy and you want to get that energy out, that would be more of a proper time to do a banishing. Or maybe if you've been through a really, you know, just stressful situation where you feel like there's really some energy that needs to be gotten rid of, the banishing at that time might be the right time. But Universal Mastery, if you look at him, you know, he's doing very well. He's very successful, and he doesn't really do banishings. He'll even tell you that. He's not really into the banishing rituals. So basically my intuition from watching his videos, I'm like, you know, let's put a pause on this. And I'm still kind of in that place where I'm not really, I don't have like a constant curriculum anymore. I don't have like a daily set practice that I do anymore. I do the lesser invoking ritual of the pentagram now. I've changed the elemental directions, which if you want to know more about that, check out my other videos. And I know one of you, I'm trying to think who the YouTube guy was that commented, Joshua, I think it was, if I'm remembering your name correctly. Sorry if I'm getting that wrong. You talked about, you know, why just change up the directions like that. And, you know, honestly, I'm not going to tell you what's right and what's wrong because I don't know yet. I'm still experimenting. So I've changed the east from air to fire, west from water to air, the north remains earth, and then the south I changed from fire to water, because that is apparently what the elements are set to on the astral plane, in which the astral, of course, we know is what is, things manifest on the astral level before they manifest in the physical. And that's how you manifest things. You work psychically on the astral level, on Yesod, the foundation, to bring them into Malkuth, the material realm. So for me, you know, it really comes down to, I don't have the answers. I don't really know. I just want you to, if you are somebody who does the LBRP constantly and you feel like maybe there's something wrong, that is energetically off, maybe you should take a step back. Maybe you should do some more research. If you want resources, you can comment down below in this video and I'll give you some resources to go check out, some other videos. But overall, yeah, if you are going to do banishings, at least balance them out with an equal amount of invocations. But for me, I often feel drained, and this is something that I've felt for like a few years now. I've felt very drained because there was that point in my life, like I said, from like 2016 to 2019, I was so busy. I was constantly playing music shows, you know, and it was funny. After I started doing my magical practices, I became a Scottish Rite Freemason shortly thereafter, and then I learned about the music scene, and I got involved in the music scene and got to meet really magical people out there, got to have very spiritual, mystical experiences being a part of these different bands and going to these different festivals and going and traveling and seeing different people and like different lifestyles and really having a whole new world opened up to me. So I thought that something very magical was taking place. But I've reached that point where I got so high, and I guess in a way I tried to climb the tree without watering the roots. And that's really where I'm at now, is I'm going back to a place where I'm having to really look at myself and integrate and water those roots so that I can grow and flourish in the way that I'm supposed to. And find my passion again, find my passions in life, you know, the things that make me feel alive, and get a balance again. Get a balance between, you know, staying busy and doing productive things and working on my hobbies and my passions and things, a balance between that and work, and manifesting a future where I won't have to do much physical work anymore, or what I would call mundane work. I want to be doing something I love for a living, and that is going to be something that is manifested for me. I truly do know that. I know that Spirit has something very special set aside for me. And I think that's something we should all aspire to. I'm sure any of you watching this channel, there's a reason you were drawn to this channel. There's a reason you're on this spiritual path of understanding and knowledge and knowing. It's because Spirit has guided you in such a way in your life that you know that there's more for you. You know that there's more underlying and in the background of this seeming existence that we are experiencing, the occult, the hidden things behind the manifested reality, behind the curtain, so to speak. What goes on behind the curtain gives way to the production, gives way to the play, gives way to life. So if there's one thing I can offer as far as advice, is take care of your body first of all. If you're going to get into magic, you need to focus on your mental health. You need to be healthy, not make dumb decisions when it comes to your body, your health, and your well-being. Live a balanced lifestyle. Don't burn yourself out. Don't do more than what you can do. Don't try to do a million things and then just scramble your magical practices in there. Because I was doing that for a really long time and trying to just do everything and be on top of it. When sometimes we need to stop for a second, see what the universe has to offer us, allow that flow to take place, and really just find what it is within our true selves. Get in touch with our true selves and find out what brings us peace and bliss and happiness in this life. You know, we want to live a holistic life, and that means whole, not as in holy as in, oh, I don't make mistakes, I'm totally pure. No, whole as in integrating all aspects of our being, the negative and the positive aspects, because we are both. We are both angels and demons. We have within us both heaven and hell. You know, and even looking at the story of Dante, that story starts out in hell. He has to go through the cave, through the forest, and then he goes in the cave of Lilith, you know, of the sphere of Lilith on the tree of life. And then he comes back out through purgatory, and then he ascends the tree. That's how you truly ascend the tree, and then you truly are able to enjoy the true fruits of the garden. That's the true version of the tree of life. You could say the renewed tree of life. It's where we've integrated, we've done the inner work, and this time we re-enter the garden, but this time we have the awareness. We have the knowing through the experiential knowledge of having worked through the darkness and coming into the light. So yeah, I think that's pretty much gonna sum up everything that I wanted to say in this video. There's probably more I could say and ramble on about, but no, I think I'm gonna go ahead and end the video here. So I hope some of this resonated with you guys. I hope that you can get something from this. I hope if maybe you are doing your magical practices and you're seeing that things are not manifesting for you in the proper way, you know, sit with yourself, ask yourself, is this really what's right for me? Is this really the path that I want to go on? And how is my magic actually practically assisting me in my day-to-day life? So remember, no matter what, we have that connection to source. So we have to practically ask ourselves, what are these practices doing? What are they manifesting for me? Is this really what I need to be doing? You know, is this really what the practices that I need to be doing to manifest the reality that I really want to see take place and unfold before me? So peace and love, everyone. If you're not already subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. Give the video a like if you liked it, and ring the notification bell for notification on new videos. So until next time, everyone, enjoy. Peace.